did you have plans to see, and this is after, I guess, all these text messages, did you have plans to see Mr. Edwards again?
No.
Had you made plans to see him that day?
No.
What were your plans for that day?
To catch up on work. I was behind on a lot of work to catch up.
Was Bobby Davis supposed to be there that day?
He was not.
How did he end up at your house that day?
Spirit, I guess. Spirit. She FaceTimed him a lot. In her room, anywhere, wherever she was, she always was FaceTime him. She would FaceTime him, and I wouldn't even know she on the FaceTime with him, but I had initially called someone else to come and cook. Well, somebody offered to bring food that they had already cooked at home to my house, but I didn't have a taste for that. I asked them to come over and cook some neck bones and collard greens.
When you say him, you mean Bobby Davis?
No.
Oh, the person that was supposed to come over.
Yeah.
Okay.
They were supposed to come. They said they would be there by 1 o'clock, but of course, they didn't show up. So Spirit was on the FaceTime with Robert, and he was leaving a church. He was in his nightclothes. He was dropping off some Enfamil for a young lady that didn't have, that's when Enfamil was a drought. And he was dropping it off for a young mother that didn't have any more for her baby. And I was telling him, he was asking me and the baby, what were we going to do? And I was telling him, well, I'm catching up on work. You know, I'm waiting on somebody else to come over and cook so I can get some help with the kids, you know, get them out my hair so I can catch up. Yeah. And he said, well, I can come cook. I know how to cook smoked turkey, smoked neck bones and collard greens. I'm like, wow, you can cook now? He couldn't. So he said, well, I'll be there in a few minutes. Give me enough time to run. I'm going to throw some on. I'll run to the grocery store and I'll come over. And he did.
So now Robert is at your house.
Correct.
Okay. When did Mr. Edwards show up?
He had been there maybe a couple of hours, maybe. And I was
saying he had been there a couple of hours.
Robert had been at my house maybe a couple of hours, maybe.
Okay.
A couple of hours. Because he was there long enough to cut up bell peppers and sort the greens and put the neck bones on. But none was done. So maybe a couple of hours.
So when did Mr. Edwards show up?
A couple of hours after Robert arrived.
What happened? I'll start with this. How did you see Mr. Edwards when he came up?
My house is on a California style, so I don't have a lot of doors initially. I added doors, but I didn't have a lot of doors to windows. I don't have a lot of windows, rather, on my house. It's patio doors. So every room on my sons, the boys, when my sons were living with me, their hallway every room has patio doors. And so my bedroom, I converted it when I got the twins. I needed space, so I converted an extra room into a bedroom. I made us another master so that we could have enough room and space. So in my room, I have double patio doors, and it's right. This is the driveway, and the patio doors are right there in front of the driveway, so I could see.
And what did you see? When you said you could see, what did you see?
I saw him pulling up. I saw him turning in my yard. I saw him pulling up.
What was he driving?
He was driving the same duty truck he always drives.
And can you describe that truck for us?
Yeah, it's wrecked. It's wrecked. It's black, dark.
And so after you saw him, what happened next?
I got up. I kind of, because I'm thinking, what exactly would you be coming for? I already told you what it was, you know. And you know that I do not play by my children. I promise I do not. So you knew that you had violated. We were not coming back from that now. Period. We weren't coming back from that. So you knew that. He was around me a lot. He know how I am about children. He knew that, especially my own.
I'm going to overrule the objection, but I will ask the witness to move on.
Okay. So I think you said that you saw him and you were like, you didn't know what was going on. Did you go to the door?
I did not.
Why not?
I wasn't feeling. I don't know how I felt. I didn't feel like doing it either. I didn't feel like. I'm not sure if I would have even went to the door. Being honest with you, because what was I meeting at the door? What could he have? I'm thinking. This is my thought process. Well, him coming after everything transpired, what exactly could he want?
So
you know.
So then, Who went to the door?
I went to the kitchen first. I saw Robert. The kitchen is right outside of my bedroom. So I went in the kitchen. I said to Robert, he was on the facing this side of the counter making cornbread. And I said, Robert, why is Polo pulling up in my driveway? And he said, huh? And he looked out the window and he saw verify, okay, well, he's in the street coming up the driveway. And he said, don't worry about it, I handle it. So I thought about it and I said, well, no, let me handle it, I handle it. But I didn't go toward the door. I went toward my closet. In my room, you can step down, it's like a double bedroom. You step 3 steps down. And I have closets there.
And what did Robert do?
When I looked back, before I went down the last step, I looked back, he was in the pantry, moving around in the pantry. But see, he didn't have on any shoes, so I didn't think much of it. Maybe he was looking for his shoes. I didn't think much into it, because he's always respected whatever I told him now. He never opened my doors or none of that. I did that myself.
Did he eventually go to the door?
Apparently.
And describe for us what you saw, or what you heard.
Well, when I sat down, I slid my slides on. And for whatever reason, I was grabbing a little duster, a thing to draw on. I don't know why my mind was like that, but it was. And I heard just pop, 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 just over and over nonstop. And I grabbed my ears and I started yelling. I was hollering like, Robert, wait. Because I thought my mind went into, he was moving around in my pantry. I didn't know, that was odd. When you think hindsight, that was odd. So I'm thinking, when he was bringing the grocery in, he made a few trips. So I'm thinking maybe he brought a gun in. Maybe he had a gun. Maybe it was him doing the shooting. I didn't think that it would be, I never thought I would see what I saw when I hit the hallway.
So you thought maybe it was him. Did he actually have a firearm that day?
Who?
Robert?
No.
Okay. So what did you see when you came back around?
I saw Robert face down in the end of the hallway, like the tip of the door. He was face down. I saw Polo, Miss Evers, standing over him basically. And I saw him with the gun. And I called him last words. He said, motherfucker now. And he put a gun in his waist.
That was what I was going to ask. What did he do with the gun?
Put it in his waist.
And then what did he do?
He looked at me. He looked at me. We made eye contact. But I was more concerned with what was his next move as opposed to Robert. I didn't know that he was this critical initially. So I dove over Robert's leg and I slammed the door and locked it.
And what did you do? Tell me, what happened? What happened next?
I had to secure my babies.
Your children, they were at the home?
Yeah, Spirit loves that man. Anyway, any move he made, he knew that. That baby was on that man's heels. You know what I mean? He could have killed my fucking baby, man. That's fucked up.
I'll take the jury out.
He didn't give a damn. I'm thinking about my kids. I'm going to never do that to him. I have never disrespected his house. Ever. He done killed my baby. Those kids supposed to be alive. They didn't deserve it.
All right, so we're going to take a brief recess. Go ahead. Outside the presence of the jury, I see you on edge, Mr. Fortner. Do you have something?
Just waiting to make a motion.
I know you are. That's why you can go ahead and make your motion.
Then, to object to the outburst and encourage, note for the record that this table, the defense table, the people here have nothing to do with that outburst. We weren't objecting to anything, we weren't doing anything of that level. We had our suspicions about the outburst, but I'm not speculating. The outburst has tainted the jury irreparably. There's no way to turn that back. There's no way to undo that. Any instruction toward this, the jury is not going to be able to address what just happened in the courtroom. And I didn't have anything to do with that. I haven't objected very much to all of this testimony that's been going on. I've tried to be respectful. We have been. So I believe that outburst has irreparably tainted the jury, prejudiced the jury against my client, and we respectfully move the court to declare mistrial.
What says the state?
Your Honor, the witness had although not appropriate, a genuine display of emotion. The state did not elicit that either. All the state asked was, what did you see next, Your Honor? We did not tell the witness to do that. We did not inform the witness to do that. The defendant is charged with murder. An eyewitness has cried talking about her children could have been hurt. The ultimate prejudice is that he's charged with murder. That is a reasonable response that someone might have to seeing someone shoot someone in their home. If they are in any way tainted, it is simply by the fact that he's here on trial today for a violent crime murder and an eyewitness is saying what she saw.
All right, the court is not going to grant the motion for a mistrial at this time, even though the witness had an emotional response. The court does not deem that, based on the testimony that was heard, the relationship with the defendant, the length of testimony that she has provided today, the recounting of the traumatic experience, that it is so prejudicial as to subject this matter to a mistrial. Yes, ma'am.
Good. I understand exactly what the court is doing and why the court is doing that way. However, I would like to point out to the court that this witness is more than well aware of what's going on in the courtroom, what she's testifying about. This is not something she's never gone through before. This is not a shock to her.
The court takes offense at the references made by counsel. I don't know anything about her past trauma. The only thing the court can say, and the court has before it, is a situation where a person heard, witnessed, and saw a very traumatic event that until now she has maintained more than reasonable composure. And unfortunately, in referencing the concerns, parental concerns for minors, that there was this outburst. But the court does not think that it's unreasonable based on the testimony I've heard, that it was a very violent offense, it was a very vivid offense, and it was a very shocking offense that anyone might have a momentary outburst. But I do think she has been reasonably controlled until now and not attempted to malign the defendant more than just to talk about their personal relationship. So the court is not going to, I have not heard anything from this witness about any other traumatic events that would lead the court to be able to make this ruling based on anything other than what I have heard from the witness stand. So if you got something else, it has not been brought forward yet.
Would you like me to approach the judge and explain why I'm making that motion.
It's not in the record yet, counsel.
I understand that. If I approach the bench and
but I'm not going to let you put it in the record. You see what I mean? I'm trying to just base my ruling on this based on what I have in front of me and not some external matters, and that to me would be an external matter.
But it's an external matter that should be made a part of the record.
And you will have an opportunity to do so.
What is that?
Doing your cross-examination.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
Is she ready?
Judge, one other thing.
Sure.
Could you, I'm not saying reserve your ruling, I'm simply saying, would I be allowed, once we're through with the cross-examination and perhaps other information has come before the court, that I could renew the motion?
If there's enough instance like that, yes. And you are perfectly free to explore any motives behind the outburst of the witness. But at this time, I can only base my ruling upon the testimony I've heard and what I have seen that is in front of me at this moment. If you wish to explore any credibility behind the outburst, you will have that opportunity on cross-examination, but not now. Now, Ms. Ago, before we bring the jury back in, it is approximately 4:22 p.m. How much longer will you require this witness for direct examination? Do you know? Because I know you're not finished.
Not that much longer, Your Honor.
Because as I mentioned during jury selection, I usually let the day end at 4:30. This jury has worked hard today. You all have not given them a lot of breaks today. Unfortunately, Ms. Robinson, that means that you will probably be back in the morning to begin cross-examination. Just let me know, because I think your cross may be extensive. Your cross may be extensive, and we're not staying here till 6 o'clock at night. This jury has had a hard day.
I suggest that we let the jury jump in right now.
Well, would you like to end your direct now and complete it in the morning, Ms. Ago?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well then let's do that. Let's bring this jury back in. Excuse me.
Your Honor, before the jury comes back in, I know we're not going to be able to speak with her today.
No, you will not.
So I want, if Your Honor could explain to her to try to remain calm, because we can't tell her.
I will have to excuse the jury.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.